Happy Mother's Day, Mom! Happy Mother's Day! Wanted to jump on here and do this video. There's so many people that have influenced my life. So many people that allow me to be the mother that maybe today you know me to be, right? So I'm not perfect, and I'm sure your mom is not perfect, but she is loved, totally loved. So first of all, happy Mother's Day to all of your mamas. And I just want to thank God for each and every one of the women in my life. So if you're not on this list, just know that my number, because I'm 55 years old, my number had to stop at 55. But I would say that every woman that has come into my life has allowed me to be a better human being and definitely a better mother. So the first one is obviously my mom. My mom taught me love, unconditional love for the world. I don't show up in the way that I show up better because of the influence. I show up in the way that I show up in this way because of the love that my mom taught me. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for my mom for showing me that unconditional love. My mom is that kind of person that will take her coat off and give it to somebody that's in need on the street in New York in 10 below zero. That's my mom. And mom, if you're listening, te amo, mami, como no te imaginas. Eres especial. The second woman is my grandmother. My abuela Nereida taught me that ability to work. My daughter Vanessa said, Mom, I don't know anybody that hustles like you hustle. And I get that from my grandmother, from my abuela Nereida. I get that from her, just that ability to be able to work and go nonstop and just go. And I thank God for that. The third person in my life is my abuela Maria. She taught me to pray. She was a woman of prayer. She's that woman that she had calluses in her knees from kneeling down and praying. And I am grateful and thankful that that woman prayed that way because she taught me to be a woman of prayer. The fourth woman that taught me to pray was Sister Virginia. I say about Sister Virginia, and if you're here, Sister Virginia, if you ever watch this, I want to wish you the world happy Mother's Day. And I want you to know that people in my space, and I show up differently because of the prayers that you prayed for me during the most difficult time in my life. But I also learned to pray from you. I learned to bind and rebuke and come against every demon in hell that will come against my home because of you. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for the woman that I have become today because of you in my life. Number 5 is praise. I learned this from my mom. I learned that from so many women, but my mom, I mean, seriously, you call my mom today in the midst of everything that is happening, and my prayer for those that lost their mama. Happy Mother's Day in heaven to those mamas. My prayer, my heart goes out to those people that have lost their moms and for the first time are not celebrating with their mother. That hurts and that's hard. And as a world, I want you to know that we're going to get through this. What your mother deposited in you, the strength, the courage, that's going to get you through. That's going to get you through. But I learned to praise from my mom. You call my mom right now in New York, and my mom would say, it's a beautiful day. I see the sun. The birds are outside my window. Everything is good, Glenis. That's my mom. She's always praising. She's always... I have a sense of gratitude, but none like my mother, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that little woman in my life. The other person that I learned to praise from was Sister Maria Casas. She was one of my pastor's wife, and I thank God for her because I learned to praise from that woman. She had, and I don't know exactly what she had, but she had a disease in her skin. And she would always show up beautiful and like the world was fine and everything was fine in her life. I learned to praise from that woman. I learned from my Tia Angie that there was no judgment. My Tia Angie, is the woman that actually opened the doors for my mother. My mother came pregnant from the Dominican Republic with our little sister Janet. And my Tia Angie opened her doors to her with no judgment. But then also, when I was 14 years old and things were not good at home, she opened the doors to me and said, Mija, you could come on down. That's your room right there. There was no judgment. There was no, why are you here? Why are you moving in? It was like, Mija, that's your bed right there over there. And I thank God for my Tia Angie. The other person that allowed me to just be present was Rosa Perez. I thank God for you, Rosa. You allow me to just be right there with my children. You allow me to be here. That's what I learned from you. You may not be a mother of your own, but you mother so many people because you were there, you were present, and that's what children love and need. Thank you, Rosa. The other person in my life is Sandy, my BFF. Sandy allowed me and taught me to build memories. It's like, we're going to take that Christmas picture, we're going to take that Easter picture, we're going to take that Valentine's picture, we're just going to build memories. No matter what's happening in our lives, we're single mamas, we're going to build memories for our kids. Sandy, I thank you for that. The other person in my life is Maria Salazar. Maria, when I think of someone that actually just stands up to responsibilities, I think of you. You invested your life in loving your mother, in taking care of your mother, in making sure that things were good, and you put yourself to the side to make sure that things were good. When Dad should have been the person to step up and take care of things, Maria, you taught me that responsibility. We show up sick to work, we show up fighting, we show up as warriors because we have responsibilities and people that are counting on us. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for you doing that in my life and showing me that. Edith, you taught me acceptance. It was like, it didn't matter what I went through, and that day it's all gonna be good. Glenis, I got you. I got you. You had those big old arms to love and hug on the kids, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that ability that you had to be able to just show up and love on my children. Thank you. Okay, Jamie, you taught me that with God, all things are possible, that I could change, that it didn't matter what I had gone through, that I could change, that our God was greater. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. Doxy, you taught me encouragement. There is not one Mother's Day, one Christmas, one Thanksgiving that I don't hear from you. You have loved and encouraged me from the day that I met you, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. Marta Sanchez, I just want you to know you taught me how to give. I am a giver more so today because of what I saw in your life. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. I never saw you have a problem, whether a check was $2,000 or $20,000, you were gonna give and you were gonna give and you were gonna give into my family and you were gonna give to the church and you were gonna give. And as a new Christian, I watched and you taught me how to give, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. Sister Mary Lou, you taught me that I was a number 10. I was a 10. I was definitely a 10. No matter who thought what, and who said what, I was a 10 because I was a child of the living God. And God had made me perfect in every way. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. Vanessa Lawler. Honey, you're my oldest. And you taught me to live by faith and not by sight. Like I shared with you this morning, honey, you taught me at the age of 13 years old. You said, Mom, I would have never, ever, ever thought that I did not have a dad and that our lives were different than everyone else in our lives. I never thought that our lives were different because there was so much love in our lives. Thank you. Thank you for not watching your circumstance, but watching what God could do in the spirit of love and connection when we open our heart to Him. Kelsey, you taught me stewardship. You taught me to be a better steward. It doesn't matter whether you could be my kid or my grandkid. These are the women that taught me. And Kelsey, you taught me that we needed to be good stewards because God would have us be better stewards. And your example to all of us, not just your children, but to all of us, we're all watching and we're all better stewards because of the examples that you have set. Valentina, I want you to know, mija, that you may not be my own, but I see you as my own. What I learned from you was grace. I learned to be more graceful because of you. I remember when things went down in our family and you were still not a Galindo. And you said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What has happened, not happened. I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to do this because of grace. God doesn't see what we have done. He doesn't see what he sees is he sees our today. And that is called grace. And I learned that from you, mija. Joy Galindo. You're only 20, mija, but let me tell you something. If I have to throw a big party, honey, you're it. You're the one that's going to organize it because memories are built by people like you, full of joy. Joy, gifts, and service is what brings the joy to people, and that's what you know how to do, little girl. I don't even know where you got that from, that spirit of decorating and making somebody feel special. I don't have an ounce of that, and Joy Galindo, you have that, and I just want to say thank you for that. Helga Hargreaves, this was my mother-in-law. I want to say that what I learned from you, and I hope you could hear me in heaven, what I learned from you was acceptance. I remember you looking at me and saying, you know what, honey, if it was up to me, Corey would marry you today. Today he would marry you. I walked into your house full of fear, full of, oh my God, what is his mother going to think of a single mom with 4 kids? And you just looked at me and you said, turn around, honey, turn around, turn around. And he said, listen, if I was, and I won't say the rest of the words that you said to me, but I remember you saying, honey, it would be an honor to be your mother. I will have 4 grandkids overnight if he marry you today. Acceptance is what I learned from you, and I love you, Helga. Cheryl, this is what I learned from you. This is Cheryl Towns, my sponsor. Okay, as you know, I am a recovering addict, and Cheryl Towns was my sponsor. And Cheryl, what I learned from you, I learned that I was just like new money, that I smelled and looked like new money. You would say, honey, do you know what money looks like and smells like? Especially new money. That's you, Glenis. That's you. Thank you for saying those words over my life when I could not believe in me. Thank you. Christina Baruman, I learned from you love. I learned from you friendship. I learned from you community. And I learned that you can get through anything when you have that tribe, that village that's surrounding you. Thank you. Thank you that you allow me to have my 4 and your 4, and then the 2 of us, and I thought they were all one child. Thank you for your love, for your sense of community, and for bonding and building our family during a time that was difficult for you and difficult for me. Thank you. Marta Perez, I hope you could hear me in heaven, Martika. What I learned from you was faith. That's what I learned from you. And your daughter, Priscilla, should be so proud that she has that legacy. What I learned from you in the midst of you fighting, back then with AIDS, what I learned from you is that you never stopped believing. It was years that the Lord allowed you to live because of that faith. And what I learned from you was to pray and have faith and believe God for the impossible. Thank you. Tia Dulce, my Tia Dulce who's in heaven. You allow me to take care of myself. I would not do this video without this makeup and the earrings and this and that, because we all show up better for ourselves and for others when we take care of ourselves. That's what I learned from you, Tia. Thank you. You would say we all look better with a little bit of glam in us. Thank you. Oh, God. Tia Noris, I learned from you that family is first. Thank you. Thank you for dedicating your life to your daughter and your grandkids. Thank you for saying, I will stay available and open. I will stay single to make sure I'm there for my daughter and my grandkids. Thank you. I love that. Morena, I learned love and forgiveness. Nobody loves her children like you do. No matter what they do, what they say, there is love and forgiveness always, and I love you for that. Giovanni, this is my sister, Giovanni. Giovanni, what I learned from you is that my identity, no matter what I think or say about me, my identity is in Christ. And whenever I'm confused, I can always look to God's word, or I can pick up the phone and call you, because you'll teach me who I am and you will remind me of who I am. Thank you, Giovanni. Te amo. Belkis. This is my sister Belkis. I will always be here to protect you. Family protects. Family is there. Family is strong, and family is everything. Thank you. Thank you for being that person in my life, especially in high school. You're saying, I'll beat up anybody for you, Glenis. Don't you worry. You just walk okay. Don't be afraid. It's going to be okay. They got to take it up with me. Thank you. I love you, Manita. Janet, life is always better with a little piece of chocolate. You're my M&M, and I love you. And life is truly a little bit better with some sweets in it. Maggie Romero, Margarita Romero. You're my strength. Manita, when I think of someone strong, I think of you. I cannot imagine life without you. Thank you for showing me and teaching me the way of what a strong woman looks like in the midst of everything. In the midst of everything and anything that may go on, we're strong, we're Romeros, and we show up in a beautiful way with a smile. Thank you. Mama Damasa, family, te amo. In heaven, te amo, Mama Damasa. Ana Rosa, my sister, my oldest sister, me enseñaste humildad y te amo, manita, por ser tan humilde. You taught me humility. That's a hard one, but you taught it to me. Thank you. Loretta Nelms, you taught me how to support my mate, how to be a better wife. With your quiet spirit and your graceful self, you taught me how to show up as a wife. Thank you. Angela Chambers, you taught me beauty and change was okay. That it was okay to be different. Thank you. Benny Cosmetics. We all look better with a little bit of lipstick, and especially you, Glenis, with red lipstick on. Maggie, strive for greatness, Glenis. Strive for greatness and be yourself. You're beautiful just the way you are. Kimberly Sink, you're enough. Glenis, you're enough. The minute you learn to believe that you're enough, all of us will see the real Glenis. We want the real Glenis to show up. Angela Terrazas, you taught me to be a homegirl. I know we're not close and life has changed, but you taught me how to be a homegirl. You taught me how to be a woman of the street. Homegirls are there for each other no matter what. Thank you. You're my homie. Altagracita, sisters are more, they are sisters not because they grow up together or they're raised together. They're just sisters because they're sisters and they choose to be sisters. I could not see you or hear about you. And then when I'm in your space, it's like we've never left each other. Gracias, te amo, Altagracita. Heather, your perseverance, little girl. That's what I love. I would love to watch you as a little girl, Heather. Heather Feather? I think that's your social media name. Heather, you're amazing. Your perseverance from very little is what encouraged me to persevere. Rizal Furtado, you're a team player. I don't even show up as much as you show up in our team. You're amazing, woman of God. I love you. Joanna, you taught me forgiveness. Thank you for calling me today on Mother's Day. That made my day. Thank you. Emily Diaz, you taught me integrity. Even when it's hard, we stay with our integrity. We don't change. This is what's right, this is what's wrong, and we do the hard. Thank you, Emily. Doña Lupe Salazar. Usted me enseñó el amor incondicional. Usted amó a mis hijos como si fueran suyos. Y Doña Lupe, donde quiera que usted esté, si usted oye este mensaje, yo quiero que usted sepa que yo la amo. Mía, you and Pete are, what you taught me is we can all change. Mia Morales, I remember you walking into church as a gangbanger with a gun in the diaper bag. And 20-something years later, to see the woman of God that you have become, what you taught me is that we can all change and we can define ourselves as that new beginning, as the people that God wants us to be. Thank you, Mia Morales. Oh my God. Patty Cabrera, Marcelo's wife, what you taught me is patience. I am so thankful, so grateful to God that you're still married, that you decided to just be patient and be an amazing wife to the husband and sticking by him. Thank you. Doña Chelo, usted me enseñó el amor. Usted amó a mis hijos como si fueran los suyos. Doña Mirna, usted me enseñó el amar a mis hijos, no matter what. You taught me to love my children no matter what. Usted me enseñó que no importa lo que mis hijos hagan, esos son mis hijos. Y esos hijos yo los voy a querer con todas sus imperfecciones. Gracias, Doña Mirna. I can't think of her name, but Marco's grandmother, I can't think of her name. She's been in heaven for many years. She taught me love, unconditional love and acceptance. Thank you. Oh my God. Lisa Nichols. Stand on your story, Glenis. Oprah. And so many mentors that I have that are women. What they taught me is we can all move on. Our minds are powerful. Our minds are powerful and beyond, and we can change our stories. Julie Mullins, Joyce Meyer, Sarah Jakes, Priscilla Shirer, and so many women, preacher girls. God called them to preach, and they allow me to know that I could also preach the gospel and be the ambassador that God allowed me to be. But the most important thing that I learned from a lot of women, but the most important women that I've learned from is from myself. And I hope that if you're a young mommy, that you learn from these words I'm going to tell you. As a young mom, I thought I could not do it. But today, as a grandma, if I have to raise all of my grandchildren, I know the most important thing that I learned from myself is that this girl looking in the mirror, she may not know how, but this girl's gonna figure it out. You have in you greatness, and you will figure this out. All of us, God did not deal the wrong cards. God dealt the perfect cards for us. What has happened to you and I, whether it's abuse, whether it's divorce, whether it's the loss of a business, it doesn't matter what I've gone through or may go through in the future. I know that I am strong. I am strong first because I'm a child of the living God. And second, because I got, like my daughter says, I have grit. I have hustle. And no matter what, I will outwork my competition. I will do anything and everything I need to do to make sure that I show up in the best possible way that I can. So, prayer changes everything is what I tell this girl. God is faithful no matter what, even when you're not faithful, Glenis. And because he's faithful and because he's good, you're going to be able to figure this out. So on this Mother's Day, I hope that you make a list of all the wonderful people that did something amazing in your life. We don't just show up and become great mothers. We don't. We are frightened. We're scared. We don't even know whether, I know that was me. I don't know about you, but I know for me, I was so frightened. I was so scared when I was going to be a mother. When I was pregnant with Vanessa, the conversations that I had is, can I do this? Am I able to do this? Can I get her through the diaper stage? Can I get her through can I even go through birth? Can I do this? And I want you to know that you can, that no matter what you're questioning today, the God in you is he did not bring you this far to leave you. He's going to make a way where there's no way. And I hope and I pray that you would wait and see what God will do. He will always do abundantly more than we could imagine or think. I always say, my past does not define me. My future is this. I am more than a conqueror. And I will say what my husband says over me, Glenis, you're one bad mother, and so are you. Happy Mother's Day. I hope that the Lord allows you to celebrate you today in spite of everything else that may be going through around you, inside you. I just want you to know that if you take the next right step, you're going to be okay. The problem is if you freeze right there, if you allow this COVID-19, this corona to define who you are. On the other side of the coronavirus and COVID-19, who are you going to say you were? I'm going to say, hey, I showed up for my kids. I showed up for my grandkids. I showed up for my neighbors. I showed up for strangers. I did everything and anything that I needed to do. I pushed and pushed and pushed. And guess what? In able to be a mother, we push and push and push. And then we get that baby. Then we get that child. So remember, whether you have had children or have no children, I'm sure you are a mother to so many. I texted Edith earlier today and said, honey, I want you to know that I want you to have a happy Mother's Day because you were a mommy to my children. And Edith was just 13, 14 years old, a little girl when my kids were little. And that little girl showed up like she was a grandmother with so much wisdom. When I thought I couldn't, that little girl would show up. Thank you. And Sulema, I did not include you in one of these 55s, but I want you to know that you loved my children, especially Junior, as if